Welcome to our channel, the fastest, most complete and most attractive update of the dramatic, unexpected and thrilling developments of The Young and the Restless. If you are passionate about stories revolving around power, love, hatred and secrets buried for decades, you have come to the right place. Let's explore with us a shocking truth that will completely change the fate of one of the central characters, Kyle, when the past rises and lies are exposed in the light of tragedy. Genoa City has never been a peaceful place. Everyone in this town has a story, a past that they try to hide or a secret they are willing to do anything to protect. But there are secrets, no matter how deep they are buried, that will one day be dug up and cause everything to collapse. In a seemingly harmless moment, Jack decided to break the wall of lies he had maintained for so many years. No one forced him to speak, but his own conscience did not allow him to continue watching his son live in confusion. And so, he told the shocking truth. Kyle was not Diane's son as everyone believed, but the result of a dark relationship between Jack and Isabella, the woman who had once shaken the whole town with her crazy actions and mysterious past. When he heard Jack utter that name, Kyle's whole body froze. His heart was suffocated by a series of questions that had never appeared before. Isabella? A name he had only heard vaguely through rumors, a woman that people only mentioned with bewilderment, fear or caution. But now, that name was associated with the most painful truth. She was the one who gave birth to him, the one who brought him into this world, not Diane, the woman he had loved, hated, and then forgiven. All the memories of his childhood, all the lullabies, all the moments between mother and son. All collapsed like an illusion that had never been real. Jack knew the consequences of admitting this truth. But he also knew that silence would be a greater sin. For years, he had tried to forget what had happened to Isabella. She had been a part of his chaotic past, a part of his life that had been turned upside down by mental instability and out-of-control behavior. Kyle's birth from that relationship was not part of the plan, but it had become an indispensable part of his life. When Diane took on the role of surrogate mother and volunteered to raise Kyle as her own, Jack thought he could bury the truth forever. But he was wrong. Because true motherhood cannot be hidden, and Kyle deserved to know who he was. The truth was not only cruel but also devastating. Kyle became panicked. He could not believe that everything he had ever believed in, loved, was just a curtain covering a terrible truth. He felt like he did not belong anywhere. Not Abbott, not Newman, not Diane. A feeling of alienation enveloped his mind, causing him to withdraw, alienating everyone, even Summer and Harrison. The man who had been strong, once steadfast in the midst of many corporate wars, had now become a vulnerable, skeptical, and internally torn person. Meanwhile, Diane was losing her mind. Anger surged through her like an unstoppable waterfall. She had spent her life protecting Kyle, fighting to be accepted as part of the Abbott family, fighting for every chance to be a mother. But now, it was all erased in an instant. Not only had she lost her identity, but she had also lost the trust of the son she considered everything. Diane could not accept this truth. She began to suspect that Jack had deliberately destroyed the bond between her and Kyle to remove her from Jabot once more. She began to break down, then gradually turned to a more dangerous state, revenge. Diane was not alone in her anger. As the news spread, Victor also showed great concern. He suspected that Jack's revelation of Kyle's true identity was not just a family matter, but also related to a larger force at work. Victor suggests that if Isabella is still alive, she may be being manipulated by someone else, perhaps Tucker, perhaps a new force emerging to overthrow the power of both Newman and Abbott. Private investigators are hired, secret investigations are launched. And from here, the past is gradually unearthed to reveal a series of terrifying links. Isabella was once protected by a mental health institution under a false name, and may have had a second child while in hiding, a mysterious child that has never been revealed. Kyle, in a state of mental turmoil, sets out to find his birth mother. He doesn't need Jack's permission, nor Diane's support. He wants to see the person who gave birth to him, whether she's crazy, dangerous, or just a ghost from the past. His journey takes him to places beyond Genoa City, from abandoned mental institutions to secret hospitals with erased records. And there, he begins to discover unimaginable clues. Isabella wrote to him, begged Jack to tell the truth, secretly watched him from afar. But for honor, for power, and for fear, everything was suppressed. The biggest truth gradually comes to light: Isabella was never completely insane. She was forced into a mental institution to keep her mouth shut. And the man behind the whole scheme is none other than someone who was once close to both Newman and Abbott, a hidden, intelligent, sinister man who was returning to Genoa City to exact revenge on both families. That person could be Martin, Alan's twin brother, who was once thought to be dead, but who has actually been working with Jordan for a long time and has taken advantage of Isabella's instability to plan to infiltrate Chabot and Newman Enterprises from the inside. If that's true, not only have Jack and Kyle been fooled, but the entire power structure of the two largest corporations is under threat. The real storm is just beginning. Diane falls into a deep depression and is slowly losing control. Summer is forced to take Harrison away from Genoa City to protect her son. Kyle is caught between three women: his mysterious biological mother, his wounded adoptive mother, and his emotionally inaccessible wife. Meanwhile, Jack faces the worst consequences of his life, losing his son not to death, but to a complete breakdown of trust. And Isabella? She's still missing. But letters, recordings, old photos, all of them are slowly bringing Kyle closer to his mother than ever before. When mother and son meet, will the truth heal or just deepen the wound? And if Isabella does return, will she choose forgiveness or revenge? The game has never been so dangerous and complicated. Stay tuned for the next developments on our channel so you don't miss any exciting episodes. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to always be the first to discover the shocking secrets of the young and the restless.